temperatures are rising fast on Pegasus as the ship crashes through Jupiter's atmosphere.
Pegasus pitch angle is increasing. We've lost hydraulics on the main engine tank. 9, that's impossible.
Heat shield temperature hit 2,700 degrees. Max G was 9.7.
We're looking into the G-code anomaly.
The aerobrake reduces Pegasus' speed from 20 miles a second to around 7, placing the mission in orbit around the gas giant and on course for a rendezvous with the major moons.
Lisa and Pearson have passed out.
First and run a full diagnostic. We'll need a gyro bias update.
How many fingers am I holding up?
12. 3, okay, 3.
Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system, and with its clutch of over 60 moons, it's almost a solar system in itself. The planet completes one revolution in about 10 hours, fast enough to smear its weather into these characteristic bands. The colors come from cocktails of chemical compounds churned up in the atmosphere. Jupiter is big enough to swallow more than 1,300 planets the size of Earth.
Everything about Jupiter is off the scale. Clouds the size of continents, lightning bolts that could incinerate a city, hurricanes that have been raging for centuries. I mean, much bigger, and Jupiter would have begun fusion and become a second sun.
The Jupiter system contains the most volcanic world we know, the moon of Io. One of the crew will land on this primitive world that mirrors Earth's early history. It's highly unstable and dangerous.
We've got 4 landing sites, depending on the mood Io's in when we arrive. The interior is constantly being stirred up by Jupiter's gravitational tides, so it's literally turning itself inside out. So our maps date real fast. But that's what makes it so exciting. It's the most volcanically active object in the solar system.
It's not just the constant eruptions that make Io one of the most dangerous places to land. It also orbits within Jupiter's lethal radiation belts.
Any ordinary suit and you'd be dead in minutes. This one has thick layer of polyethylene to absorb any high energy particles, and it can generate its own magnetic field. Now the problem, this one is moving around. It's too heavy.
Yeah, but Io's gravity is more like our moon, so it's not really about brute force, is it even?
I think you'll find it's even harder in low gravity.
We're still negotiating who does Io. Well, there's a lot of radiation up there, not just Io. There's a good chance all of us will come back sterile. So yes, I'm putting some eggs aside for safekeeping. You asking the guys this question?
Solar radiation has already caused illness on board. In mission control, flight surgeon now has a diagnosis for John.
When you have a minute, I have some results here. I need a private line from John Pearson.
Which concludes our first crew status report from Jupiter orbit. Everyone in good shape, continuing on high antioxidant medication. Good night, Claire. See you tomorrow.
Io orbits about 220,000 miles from Jupiter. Its blotchy, multicolored surface is caused by sulfur, which changes color at different temperatures.
Control, Pegasus. Site A covered in fresh ash. Site B obscured with activity from Ra Patera. Both landing sites totally inoperable. Do we have a go for Masso Caldera at Site C, or should we default to the plain site? They should shut him up for a few minutes.
Come on! Marsor's been dormant for
At the
years.
risk of sounding like a broken record, radiation levels on that side of Io are just high, they're unpredictable, and your EVA schedule has her out there when
Hang on. So we land on Io and we don't visit a volcanic site.
Who's this we?
She's got a radiation shield.
Tell it to John Pearson.
We all made the decision to send people up there, not robots. It's what they signed up for.
We are supposed to manage the risk. No.
If she goes to Marcel.
Four hours.
4? We've got a couple of good options for volcanoes. The Site C is a little problematic because of radiation, but there's a backup site which is a safe bet. Largely because it's miles away from anything interesting. No one wants to end up there.
It's a shame I have to walk around in this box, but I'd be cooked by radiation otherwise. Don't want to come home in a box either.
Control Pegasus, 24 hours from IO insertion, still with no landing site, running final EVA checks.
Purge valves on and locked.
Tell me the truth. Do I look fat in this?
No. Yes.
So it's a non-equatorial landing for Hermes, and we'll be sending through the new DO burn figures for you.
You're right, Yvonne. It's Massall.
Don't make it easy, do they? Hey, John, you got mail?
Lymphoma.
Good dose of chemo might have helped, except that I couldn't take anything that toxic. It would all end up in the water and contaminate everyone else.
John and I have had a preliminary meet to discuss how his condition may impact on the mission objectives and timeline, and we've initially agreed to postpone any announcement to the rest of the crew until after Zoe's EVA.
The ship's water is recycled. Chemotherapy for John will contaminate the water supply for the entire crew. Everyone on board is required to take medication to mop up dangerous free radicals. Not everyone does.
John's giving me these for the radiation. I'm not going to take them. I want to be absolutely sharp when I'm down there, not drugged up to my eyeballs. I've waited too long for anything to come in the way of this experience.
One of the Pegasus crew readies for an EVA to Io, Jupiter's most volcanic moon.
We can actually pick out individual volcanoes.
I can see some ejecta, too. Look at those plumes. Asavatira, here I come.
That's enough direct sightseeing for now. We'll have to make do with the cameras.
Just call me Dr. Killjoy.
No, John, you keep an eye on those counters. I want to tell my grandchildren about this.
Roger that.
So what do you think, Zoe? You got enough to keep you busy for the next 4 hours?
This from the guy who had 3 weeks on Mars. Don't get me started. I've got enough to keep me going for months.
However long you get, it's never enough.
Just passing over a weak plume. It's magnificent. Low G and no air to distort the flow. It really does look like one big glass-blowing factory. It's unreal.
Looking good from here, Hermes.
Nav computer's out a couple kilometers. Switching to manual. This is one grumpy piece of rock. Even her gravity's uneven. Okay, going into landing radar checks now.
Attitude is good. Descent rate good. Fuel 23%. Take your time, Zoe.